Conspiracy has been the very currency of Maga. The Trump's movement within the Republican Party and beyond was always united by one thing, and that was conspiracy. Remember, it started with a conspiracy, birtherism, the idea that the sitting President of the United States was actually illegitimate. Why? Because he wasn't born in the United States and so wasn't entitled to be the president at all. Barack Obama was supposedly born in Kenya, and so Trump made an entire industry out of questioning Obama's actual place of birth. It was the first time a president had been questioned and challenged in this way. And of course, the first black president was the only president to ever be challenged in that way. And Trump gained a huge amount of following and adulation from people because he dared to say that and dared to follow that conspiracy to the bitter end. So it is conspiracy from which Maga was born. And right now Maga is being torn apart by another conspiracy, the biggest of them all, the one about one of the most despicable crimes in history committed by one of the most awful characters, certainly in American history, Jeffrey Epstein. And in this video I'm going to talk about why it is that the specific conspiracy around this specific person is threatening to completely shatter Maga, not just in two but into several pieces. Right after a very quick word about this channel. I hope you're enjoying the video. As a psychiatrist who's fascinated by the worlds of politics and economics and philosophy, I love making these videos, and if you'd like to see more of them, then please do like and subscribe and comment in this video. What you'll find is that there's a beautiful community growing up around this channel. We're all going through a national and international trauma right now because of what's happening and where our leaders are taking us. And in this channel you'll find people honestly sharing their situation and their distress, and other people responding with kindness, empathy and compassion. So please join this wonderful community that we're forming, join in the comments and the dialogue that's happening. So conspiracy has always been the lifeblood of Maga. Remember, common parlance within the Maga community is the idea of a deep state, the idea of a conspiratorial cabal of people who have always been organizing society against them. The reason why all of this is so powerful, the reason why conspiracy is the very blood that binds Maga together, is because, remember, all of Maga is bound by a sense of grievance that they have been usurped, a sense that their social status, their position in society has been usurped by others. And so the only way that they can make sense of that, rather than it being about a diverse country where some people are succeeding and others are joining too, rather than believing in that story, they have to believe in conspiracy. It's the only way they can handle the pain. That sense of grievance can only be calmed by ideas of conspiracy, by ideas that there are other people who are pulling the strings, who are disadvantaging us, who are eventually destroying us. So conspiracy is a necessary psychological crutch, if you like, for the grievance that made Maga in the first place. And of course, once you start down the road of conspiracy, there's almost no end to it. It's a bottomless pit. And that's how they got themselves all the way up to the conspiracy of QAnon. This idea that there was a cabal of pedophiles in the Democratic Party who were pulling the strings, running the country, controlling everybody and destroying everybody's lives, fundamentally in order to gain access to sexual activities with children and even drink their blood. This is basically the underlying belief system that formed through that conspiracy. And why did it come about? It came about because of the deep insecurity of the people who believed it. They had to believe something that bad was happening in order to understand why the world wasn't putting them on top all the time anymore. Now, of course, central to that is the idea that these are the worst people ever. These are the most profoundly disgusting human beings ever, the cabal who rules us. And that's where things like child abuse come into it. But that is why Jeffrey Epstein was always so central to this. Because when Jeffrey Epstein came about, and all of his links to all the range of people came about, there was an obvious link that, okay, he's a part of this fundamental conspiracy that we believe in, that helps us feel better about who we are, is a guy who was actually caught for it, a guy who was networking with all the rich and powerful people, a guy who must be at the center of part of this. So that's why the Epstein conviction and the story around Epstein has been so central to Maga. Unearthing that has been so key. And let's remember that the Trump administration played along with it too. They actually lured people into it. They egged them on. Bundy herself assured people, the Attorney General assured people herself, that major revelations around this were coming.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
Not only that, she even invited influencers into the White House, gave them folders and said, look, here we have the beginnings of the conspiracy. We're starting to unearth things. I'll show you the physical handouts, the prints themselves, and you can be ready for the next big installments to come your way. They were releasing it like a serialization, like little parts of a story that people are going to put together and get great excitement from finding the truth out at last. So she really engaged in some kind of a show around this.
The Trump administration invited a slew of conservative MAGA influencers to the White House, purporting to give them a first look at a batch of documents labeled the Epstein Files, Phase 1.
And it wasn't just her, it was the whole MAGA world. Donald Trump Jr. even said that release and further information and big bombs dropping were imminent.
And President Trump's eldest son, Don Jr., posted about the news, quote, LFG, an acronym for Let's Effing Go.
And then suddenly, overnight, just like that, it vanished. We weren't allowed to talk about it anymore. MAGA wasn't allowed to focus on it anymore. It was finished. Please forget about it. Nothing to see here.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
But it hasn't gone away because MAGA have been fed on this from the beginning. It's like trying to take milk away from a baby. This is what they grew up on. They're not going to suddenly turn away and say, all right then, forget about it. And we've seen one after the other, MAGA influencer after another, coming out with fury, with rage, rejecting this idea that they should forget all about it. They won't forget about it. And they're saying it loudly and clearly.
The new memo has Musk posting this meme, among others. It's a guy putting on progressively more clown makeup with the text, "We will release the Epstein list. We just need more time. The Epstein list is on my desk. There is no Epstein list," with full clown regalia.
Who raped them? Where are the rapists? Like, why aren't they in jail? What? This is the Department of Justice.
Yes.
That is so crazy. This is honestly one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Trump himself promised full transparency on the Jeffrey Epstein case when he was running for president. This has been a big issue on the right. My friend Dan Bongino was one of the people who made it a big issue. So did Kash Patel, talking about it over and over and over again. It is just not real for Trump to pretend he's shocked this is still an issue. Nothing's been resolved. Nothing's been released. He promised transparency, as did his attorney general. And then they release a memo saying, you're not getting anything. It's over. Just trust us. And that was not real. Trump pretending he's shocked that people are still interested in it.
All right, this breaking news. Sources tell CNN that Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino has told people that he's considering resigning amid a major clash between the FBI and DOJ over the continued fallout from the release, or lack thereof, of the Jeffrey Epstein memo.
So it's turning into a frenzy. Apparently, the number of searches on Google for Jeffrey Epstein in the last week has increased by 1,200%. There are people across the MAGA world and beyond who are looking into this again, who have reignited their curiosity around what's happening now. And it's a real threat to Trump, and he knows it. Because just yesterday he released a message that shows how deeply nervous he is about all of this. Here's what he said. What's going on with my boys, and in some cases with my girls? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA. I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration. We're the talk of the world. For years, it's been talking about Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving him publicity? Let's stop this. He's begging. He's pleading with his followers to drop it, to forget about it. Please move on. Nothing to see here. I promise you. But they're not moving on. You see, at the end of the day, as I say, you can't take the very nutrient that you used to grow your garden away from it and expect it to keep growing and stay alive. Conspiracy was the lifeblood of MAGA, and if you take it away, MAGA starts to die. That's what's happening right now without their willingness to go ahead and explore the biggest conspiracy of them all any further. You see, those who live by conspiracy are destined ultimately to die by conspiracy too. I hope you liked the video. I hope you also can join me with more of my content that I'm aiming to make over the coming months and years. You see, this time around, what we're experiencing in this administration is a global trauma, and the people going through it have been asking, how can we support ourselves? How can we learn and grow and share together through this process? So I've started to write a series of ebooks. That's together with my whole team. Once a month, we're going to produce an ebook to help us understand better the psychology of the people around us and the systems we're in, as well as our own psychology too, to help us navigate this increasingly confusing and disorientating world we find ourselves in. You'll be able to find those books on russellsbooks.com. That's russellsbooks.com. As soon as you go there, you'll be able to see the growing catalogue of books and hopefully buy any of them at any point. In addition, I hope you can subscribe to my e-newsletter. See, there's a link in the description of this video and also the description of the channel. And if you go there, you'll be able to fill out a form. Once you've completed the form, you'll then be able to get subscribed to my e-newsletter. And that way you can always be kept up to date about the content I'm producing. You see, the fact is that this platform, as well as all platforms, are owned by a very small number of oligarchs. And at any point, they might decide to shut down a channel like this. And if they do that, then, well, it's going to be hard for us to keep connecting. So if you sign up for my e-newsletter, that way you'll be able to make sure that you'll be informed about my content wherever it's delivered and wherever it lands. Finally, I hope you might also consider becoming a member of the channel. If you do, you'll get these ebooks for free every month. So all the ebooks I produce go free to my members who join the channel every month. Also, you can get priority response to comments, and there's also a members-only chat page for higher-level members that we engage in regularly to sort of learn, share, and support one another. As I say, this is a difficult time, it's a traumatic time in history, so many of us need support from each other. I'm hoping each of these things can help all of us create a better tomorrow together. Thank you.